Last time on District of Dreams. After moving through the portal we discovered in Rock Creek Park, we found ourselves in the Dreaming. As the portal vanished behind us, we resolved to continue, following Sigrun's now fading orb guide, but it was difficult to keep on track. Soon, we realized that we had broken one of the cardinal rules of travel in the Dreaming. Always stay on a path. We were not on a path of any kind anymore. The Dreaming does strange things to one's mind when one enters it. This led to a series of unfortunate events that led to us becoming separated. We also lost the guiding orb, but I was able to ask some of the old growth trees if they had seen Lady Kira pass this way. They said they had, and that she was pulled by ancient, shadowy enemies of an unknown sort further into the Dreaming. Each of us found ourselves alone in the Dreaming. Each of us, by our own means, moved through the Dreaming and came upon 3 paths. I found out later that Sigrun and I both chose the dark, misty trail on the left, while Elodie, Georgie, and Crook all chose the brightly lit path lined with statues of knights on the right. Each of our adventures was different, but each held valuable information. Elodie learned about the virtue of prowess, Georgie of temperance, and Crook of faithfulness, while Sigrun and I learned about our past lives. Our adventures ended identically, however, with a swirling mist that, when dissipated, found us back where we had started. After some deliberation, we decided that Georgie should try unleashing some fairy magic to bring us to Lady Kira. We were instantly swept up in a rush of waves, pulling us into the riptide. A moment later, we were crawling out of the water onto a beach and looking up at a large, dark castle. We now stand in front of the gate. Strange, script-like writing in a language none of us understands surrounds it. The lock doesn't seem to have a hole for a key, as though the gate was never supposed to open. We can feel a rush of glamour coming from the place itself. I do hope we have found our quarry, not only for Lady Kira's sake, but for ours.
Hello, I'm Bookkeeper, and I'm playing Sir Crook, the Redcap Wilder. Both of our pronouns are he, him.
Hi, I'm Hannah Marie. I'm playing Elodie Blight, the Chloricon Childling. Her pronouns are she, her. My pronouns are she, they.
Hi, I'm Claire Allison, and I play Georgina Byrne, a Selkie Wilder. My pronouns are she, they, and her pronouns are she, her.
Hello, I'm Rob Davies. I will be playing Rowan Parsons, a Boggin Grump. Both her pronouns are he, him.
Hello, I'm Madam Ava. I play Sigrun Spellman, the Grump Salua, and we both use she, her pronouns.
And I'm Bloodied Porcelain. I'll be your storyteller for the evening, and my pronouns are she, her. Good evening, players.
Hi.
Oh, hello.
Good evening.
I believe that where we last left off, you were standing on a beach, staring up at a weather-worn, dark, imposing castle above you with a gate that looks closed but does not seem to have a lock. You can feel the rush of the weird in you, Georgie, and the feeling of glamour, which has been relatively thick in the air the whole time you've been in the Dreaming, is heady here. It is like being in a room where there is just a touch less oxygen than you were accustomed to. So you're a little lightheaded, a little floaty, but in the best of ways. What are you going to do?
How tall is this gate?
quite tall, like 15 plus feet.
Just push on it.
Nah, I think I can get us in.
Please don't throw me.
Not gonna throw you,
Red.
but I think we can jump. If we jump together.
I was thinking climbing.
Elodie,
Yeah.
I know you can climb it. I know I can climb
Yeah.
it. Now I want you to look at Rowan.
I look at Rowan.
He can't climb it.
I have difficulty carting copies of my books to book signings, my dear.
You could get on his back, Spider Monkey.
Look, it's simple. First, we're going to do a little dance. Then I'm going to say a little rhyme. Then we're all going to jump at once.
I mean, yeah, we can try that. Don't think I didn't recognize that reference, Georgie. Don't think I'm not throwing up in my mouth right now.
What?
Don't like it. And I'm not going to share the reference with anyone else. It's just for me.
It's just for you.
It's just for me.
Okay, simple. You're going to hop twice on one foot and then twice on the other foot. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And even the old people can do it. Come on, Grumps, get at it.
I would like to make some sort of roll to see if he's making fun of me, and if this is a trick to make me do something silly.
Sure. Let me see. Make me a wits and empathy check, and I will allow Crook to tell you whether or not this is a trick.
That's one success.
One success says it might make you look silly, but it is possibly part of a bunk.
Okay, I'll start hopping back and forth on my feet.
I started hopping without question. Just for the record.
I'm doing it the way that like I would warm up, where I'm just more just like.
Okay. Do Sigrun and Georgina also hop along?
Yeah.
Seagrin will hop, and in the extra slew away, she will also just kind of do like a what's the thing where it's like in the car dealerships and it's like the
Wacky flailing
wacky-
inflatable tube man?
Yeah, she'll do that to the best of her ability with her injured arm to like ease into the ceiling.
I'd like to do the safety dance with this as well.
Seagrin's old. She knows what's up. She'll do the ceiling.
Because I want this to be safe, so it's the safety dance.
I'm gonna do a little rhyme. When I get to the word fuck, everybody jump up and then stamp both your feet down like Georgie just took Elodie's sock puppets or Georgie's boyfriend refused to pay.
Damn.
Why? Hold on.
You gotta put $1 in the swear jar when we get
You've
back.
got to put $1 in the swear jar when we get back.
Oh, we're gonna get another one right now. Ready, everybody?
I'm gonna be rich.
Ready.
A 1, a 2, a 23 skidoo. We go hence over your fences. Fuck all you can do. And I'm going to use Wayfair 1, Fay 2, and Scene to capture everybody, and we're all going to leap.
Okay. Normally, this is where I would have you make a roll and spend your glamour and do all of that fun stuff. Unfortunately, I want you to keep, well, fortunately for you, I want you to keep your glamour. You can tell that the cantrip goes off exactly the way that it should. Everybody jumps into the air. Oh, hold on. Is this better? Am I less quiet now? I turned my gain up. So you jump into the air, and everybody goes with you. You can tell that everything went perfectly, exactly the way that it was supposed to. And then you land, and you are right back where you were when you took off.
Well, fuck you too.
That's another $1.
I'm just going to push on the gate.
The gate does not budge.
It was always worth a try, though.
What if we did the polite thing and I knock 3 times?
Huh. Okay.
We really shouldn't knock in the Feywild.
Oh, yeah.
You ate food, you're knocking. Rowan.
Oh yeah, he did.
How much you know
You
better.
knock, and there's no words or anything, but something strange does happen. The bars just above your head at about, let's say, 7 to 8 feet up, begin to shift and bend until they create a small circle. By small, I mean like a foot across. And there is a swirling orb within them, or within it. It's kind of like this bluish white, mostly see-through. And within it is a torn piece of fabric that Elodie immediately clocks as a piece of Kira's jacket.
Guys,
Yes.
that's Kira's.
Goodness.
Is this gate threatening us?
Threatening us? I'm not sure, but it at least tells us what direction we must go.
Sigrun, you need to cover your ears.
Covering ears now.
And Elodie throws her head back and just yells, Kira!
Nothing happens.
Thank you for the warning.
I'm trying to be more thoughtful.
It is appreciated.
I'm going to try to climb the gate to get up to the little window.
You can get up to where it is.
Can I grab the little bit of fabric?
No.
Damn. That doesn't count for the swear jar.
Are we?
As you drop back down, in the place where the two sides of the gate meet, it's where a lock should be, but it's just like flat metal. Does that make sense? It's almost like someone like formed the gate as two pieces and then joined them in the middle, without ever like making sure that they were two separate pieces. And as you drop back, I need everybody to make me perception and alertness checks, please. Standard difficulty.
Would my sharpened senses apply for this?
Yes.
What about a detail-oriented specialty?
Yes, I will allow that.
Perfect.
2 successes for Elodie.
2 for Cook, 2 for Elodie, none for Georgie.
I roll like shit. Wait, actually,
What?
You rolled pretty well. You just also rolled poorly at the same time, so it canceled out.
So the outcome was shit. I'm trying to see if the glamour of invoking the weird actually adjusts that. Okay.
Oh yeah, you can reroll your 10s.
Okay.
So reroll the 10 that you had, and if that's a success, then you get 1 success.
I feel like we're about to reap what we have sown because we all rolled pretty good last time.
I got nothing.
Sigrun got 2, Rowan got 0. Waiting to see if Georgie gets 1. All right, Georgie. Wow, that's another 10. Reroll again.
Hold on. Dice explode in this game. Yay.
Not normally, only when you have invoked the weird.
I think I've done
What is
something
happening?
wrong.
Okay,
What is going
listen,
on?
it's not going to get any better as you get more successes. You've done what you needed to do.
Oh,
We're going
no.
to stop now so that we don't spend half the night watching you roll as, drain all of your luck to roll 1,000,000 10s.
I just want to try one more time, but like ignore me, keep going.
Okay. All right. Anybody who rolled at least a 1 notices that where this smooth metal is.
Okay, we're good.
Begins to shift and words begin to look like they have been etched into it. And the words are, to seek the truth, a price is due, not coin, nor steel, nor jewels bright, but something dear, a part of you, a cherished spark, a heart's true light. Give freely, yet beware the cost, for once it's gone, it won't return. Only those who know what's lost may claim the wisdom others spurn. And then at the very bottom, it says, what will you offer?
Fuck you.
That's 3.
I'm sorry, what are we swearing at now?
What do you have on?
I'm putting the words into PC chat. Give me a second.
What do you have on you?
Me. What do I have on me?
Yes.
Well, I have my notebook and my pen and, well, some snacks if anyone's hungry.
How cherished is that notebook?
Well, for copyright reasons, I wouldn't leave it out of my sight.
I guess the real question is this supposed to be a metaphorical thing, or or does it have to be a physical token, right? And Georgie's addressing the gate.
Oh, that's what you're looking at, and I, go closer to...
Rowan finally makes sense. Rowan's like, oh, there's a thing in front of us. Cool. Thanks for letting me know, guys.
Oh, I thought everyone could see it.
Oh, no.
Georgie can see time.
I was looking at this other cryptic writing around the door. I didn't even notice that there.
Rowan,
Yes.
since you were looking at the writing around the gate, will you please roll me intelligence and academics?
Would medieval history play into this at all?
Yes. It's a little bit of a stretch, but I'll take it. Because when are you really going to get to use that specialty?
When I'm writing my fantasy books, of course. But you are a gracious storyteller. Thank you. That's 2.
You realize as you were looking at it that the language you were looking at is Ogham, the ancient Irish language. You can't read it, but you know what it is.
Oh, yes. You don't see that very often, I say, looking at the writing. This is an ancient Irish tongue. It's called Ogham. I have no idea what it says, of course, but that's what it is.
Elodie kind of twists her ring around on her finger. Do we all have to offer something or just one of us?
I don't know. But you're not getting it back.
I know.
Let me try something.
Okay.
I'm going to walk up to the gate, and there's a moment where Crook sort of looks behind himself, feeling a little self-conscious, and so he doesn't say anything and put his hand on the gate and remember his 4th birthday when his mother bought him a child's suit of armor and a sword and a shield, and he ran around all day being a brave knight. And it was the best birthday he ever had when he was a kid.
Okay. As you call this memory to mind and touch the gate, you find that you don't really notice or you're not aware of anything happening. But eventually the orb at the top of the gate ceases to shimmer. The piece of fabric floats down from where it is. It's caught on a breeze, so somebody will have to catch it before it ends up in the water. And the 2 pieces of the gate detach from one another, and the gate swings open. And Crook, you no longer have that memory.
Yep.
Damn.
What did you give it?
You don't remember.
There's a little shimmering in his eyes. He swallows, goes, I don't know, but it was good.
I'm gonna snatch the fabric from the air. This is gonna be really dark. Is there any blood on it?
There is not.
Oh, thank God.
It looks almost like... Actually, I'm going to have you roll for this. Do you have investigation?
Yes,
You
I do.
Roll me intelligence and investigation, please. I am also just now noticing that you have a dot of law and I have questions, but we'll talk about that later.
It's because I do courtroom sketches.
Courtroom sketches. No, that makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes perfect
I figured that
sense.
could be like a really cute addition, but
That is.
zero successes.
Okay. It is tore up pretty bad. You're not entirely sure what happened to it, but there is no blood.
I'll tuck it away in my pocket and look at Crook, and I'm just gonna slide my friendship bracelet off my wrist and hold it out. Jingle, jingle, jingle.
Better hold on to that. You might need it. He starts stomping up past the gate.
You make your way up a set of wide but not terribly deep, slick stone steps toward the imposing figure of the castle above.
You know what is going to bother me until we, find out the answer?
What's that?
My unleashing, I asked to be taken to our goal.
Yes.
What's our goal? What do you think it is?
I thought it was to find Lady Kira.
That's what I thought.
Well, we did find a fabric of hers.
From about 20 yards ahead, Crook stops, turns, goes, whatever it is, I think it's this way.
Sigrun will follow after.
Elodie kind of shoves her hands in her pockets, looking... She doesn't often look dejected, but she looks a little dejected right now as she kind of kicks her way up the path.
Georgie will follow after Elodie.
Rowan.
You all... Oh, go ahead.
Rowan moves to be beside Elodie to offer a comforting hand on the shoulder if she will accept it.
Yeah, she doesn't shrug him off. She's just like... I keep trying to make him like me, and it just doesn't work.
We cannot be liked by everybody, unfortunately. But perhaps with prolonged exposure, he will come around.
That makes me sound like some poisonous gas to eventually succumb to.
I apologize. That wasn't my intention. I mean, perhaps he just needs some time to grow accustomed to your very different approach to life to his.
Maybe. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's just stupid. I'm not gonna talk about it anymore. Grumble, grumble, grumble.
And with that, perhaps not realizing how very alike she and Crook are, Elodie and the others follow along after our stomping Redcap. You all climb the stairs to the castle above. The windows are dark. Wind whips at your faces and pulls at your hair. It is like being on the beach in the strongest storm most of you have experienced. I would say that Georgina's probably experienced a stronger, because I'm sure Georgina has been there for one of the rare full-on hurricanes that occasionally hits the West Coast.
So rarely.
Rare, but they do happen.
It is called the Pacific, ironically.
And you all find yourself standing in front of a pair of large doors. Crook, you are able to push them open. These do not try to bar your way. They are these huge wooden doors, like you see in the occasional drawing of a fantasy castle. And you're able to pull a little bit of an Aragorn and lean on one of them to shove it open. And you find yourself looking in at a dark, quiet, great hall beyond. There are long trestle tables running the length of the room, and then one great table at the far end of the room with separate chairs that face out into the room itself, while the trestle tables have low wooden benches for seats. There are banners, or what's left of banners, hanging from all of the walls. They are very faded. It's impossible to make out what used to be on them. And there are weapons displayed on racks along the walls occasionally.
Is there any chance this castle looks at all familiar to me?
Roll me a wits and kenning roll.
Right.
Actually, I would like everybody to roll me wits and kenning. And if you do not have kenning, you can just roll me raw wits at standard difficulty.
It's a shame I don't have a specialty. I rolled 2 10s.
Heartbreaking.
Indeed. 4 successes total.
2 successes for me.
0 successes for Sigrun. Poor girl.
2 successes. Are my 10s still exploding?
Yep.
I'm so scared I'm gonna burn through all my luck now. Man, you guys gotta get on this shit.
Invoking the weird is dangerous. If it goes poorly during that initial roll, bad things happen. You just got very lucky and rolled perfectly.
But now you're just high as hell.
What if I explode?
Okay. Rowan. Yes, this place does look vaguely familiar. It looks familiar in different ways. On the one hand, it gives you a vague sense of deja vu, like you have been here before. On the other hand, it looks vaguely like something out of one of your stories. But there are elements of it that are incongruous to your memory of what you have written. Things that you definitely never added in and wouldn't have made sense in the setting that you in your setting. Everybody who got successes notices one thing in the room for each success that you got, aside from Rowan. So there are 2 things in here that Crook recognizes. Maybe maybe one of the shields that is displayed has a coat of arms that is in one of the books that he has read. Maybe a sword looks similar to something that Elodie has drawn in the past, or what Elodie was picturing when she drew it, just real. Georgie, you see a tapestry that is mostly worn away. Like it's really hard to make out what the pictures are, but when you get a little bit closer and kind of stare really hard at it, and really study where the very faint colors are, colors change, you realize that you may be looking at a tapestry of like a famous painting that you've studied. Using
The kind of, if we concentrate, we can kind of shape the world around us just a little, not like a ton. Can I restore the painting or the tapestry? Can I remind you that that's exactly what my job is?
You can certainly try. Let me look at your sheet. I would like Georgie to roll me. Let's go wits and academics, and I will allow your art history specialty to apply.
While this is happening, Elodie has very quickly forgotten her melancholy and says, "Heck yeah!" and picks up the sword and runs to the head table to sit in the biggest chair and be like, "Guys, I'm the king! I win!"
I thought you said you didn't want to be king.
We're just playing pretend.
But isn't there some truth in pretend?
Do I have to be king now?
Well, we picked up the sword and you're sitting in a chair. I think you may have to be king.
Elodie,
Hi.
I would like you to roll me a number of dice equal to your total glamour, please.
Oh, shit.
Oh.
How does my specialty stack with my the glamour stuff?
So your specialty would take that 10 and make it worth 2. So that's actually 2 successes, and you get to roll the 10 again.
Well, that was not worthwhile, but 2 successes.
You focus, and you can feel the glamour in the room, and you could feel the weird pulsing through you. And there is a part of you that innately understands that you don't have to do anything with your glamour to make this happen, although you suspect you probably would normally have to. And you reach up and you kind of touch just the edge, just the corner of this tapestry, and you watch as slowly the colors restore themselves to the threads and take on a new vivid life, like somebody took like maybe the picture wasn't the original version of this piece of art. Maybe the tapestry was, and the picture that is hanging up in a museum somewhere is just a recreation. Elodie, as you joke around and say it's just pretend, and then you realize and you go, do I have to be king now? you feel a heavy metal weight form itself atop your head, along with the heavy weight of something, some sort of thick fabric that has looped itself around your shoulders. And you could feel it. You could feel both kind of pulling and pressing on you, like they are pushing you into the seat. You could get up if you wanted to, but it certainly feels like they are somehow heavier than they should be. Anybody who is watching Elodie realizes that she has a crown and a like a very ornate kind of royal purple like cape that has draped itself around her shoulders.
See? A king now.
Oh no. Am I gonna get killed next?
Oh my goodness.
Any chance I can place exactly what Elodie is supposed to be king of based on the design of the crown and the mantle that she now wears?
I'm not going to make you roll for what exactly she is king of. You get the feeling it is nothing in particular. These are very kind of bog standard, but also not at all realistic crown and cape, like something you would see in like a children's movie or cartoon.
Fair enough.
Just the real life version of those things.
Yeah.
They're non-specific.
I was half worried that she was going to show up in my next book. Okay.
Anybody who would like to can roll me intelligence and Greymare.
I'll do that.
Does can I still use my specialty in art history?
For Greymare? No.
Oh yeah, it's okay.
That's your academic specialty.
That's another 4 for me.
1 for Cook. 3 for Sigrun. 3 for Georgie. Okay. You all, as this unfolds, you begin to realize that maybe more than being a specific place in a specific time or anything like that, the reason why these things are happening is because you all are here. This place is adapting to your presence. So Elodie making jokes about being king and playing pretend, the dreaming has given her the things that it thinks she needs to fulfill that role.
If only you had a queen.
Elodie immediately blushes and kind of looks down and just
Wait, perhaps that's just the thing.
I'm being very suddenly arranged in a marriage.
No,
Welcome to royalty.
I'm sorry, that's not what I meant. What if, and please forgive me, Elodie, if you find this insensitive. What if Lady Kira could be cast in this story as your queen, which might liberate her from her bad situation?
That's very silly because Kira is like a lady, like a fae lady, and I'm just a little guy. I'm the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow guy, and that would be silly. And also, her dad really scares me. And
Well, it's a good thing that we're playing pretend then.
Indeed, because now
And
you are a
he's
king.
And he's not here.
Elodie,
hi.
roll me your total glamour again.
Let's see how much Elodie is blushing right now.
That's only 1 success.
In the seat beside you, a figure kind of shimmers into being a little bit. She is kind of transparent and doesn't look like Kira. She looks like the figure of a queen in one of the last fantasy movies you watched. She is not fully formed. She is transparent, and she's looking at you adoringly.
Oh. At first, Elodie seems kind of nervous and then stops and just, I don't want a queen. I don't think I want to play pretend anymore. I just want Kira.
The second she says, I don't want to play pretend anymore, the mantle around her fades, as does the queenly specter. And you can feel the weight of the crown dissipate. And it's just Elodie sitting there and looking kind of small.
Rowan's face falls as he watches this happen, and goes over to Elodie and says, "Elodie, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have put that forward. I did not mean to make you feel uncomfortable or worse about the situation."
No, it's looks at everyone just assembled and looking at her, and it's not a secret anymore. I like Kira, and I think that she's pretty and she smells nice, and it sucks that she's gone and I can't do anything about it.
D and George will kind of bend to the other side of Elodie. That's what we're doing right now. You are doing something about it.
I'm gonna try again and see if maybe the power of friendship will get Kira here.
Okay, what are you going to do? You're going to have to be more specific than that.
Yeah, no, sorry, I'm thinking. I want it to be real good. I'm gonna pull a simple pink pen out of my back pocket. Kira left it behind in the cafe last month. And I've been trying to figure out like a good time to give it back, but the longer it has gone on, the weirder it is that I have kept it. And the weirder it is that I remember that it's hers, so I haven't. So I kind of just focus in on what I want more than anything is to be able to give her pen back.
I'm going to pull out my journal, turn it to a blank page, and put it in front of Elodie and say, "Why don't you tell her what it is that you want to do? Write your story."
Elodie will uncap the pink pen and start writing.
Being a fantasy author, I'd like to offer Elodie some assistance to hopefully give a better role if a role is to be made.
Absolutely. Elodie, I would like you to roll me. Let's go with. Is there really no art skill in this? Oh, there is a craft skill. Okay, let's go wits and crafts, and I will allow Rowan to give you 2 extra dice.
If I can offer a suggestion, expression is what I use for my fantasy writing.
She doesn't have expression.
I don't have that.
Gotcha. Okay, fair enough.
But your presence will give her extra dice regardless.
I'm a crafty bitch. That is 5 successes.
Very good. You begin to write. Rowan very occasionally leans over and kind of gives you a suggestion on a word when it looks like you're hung up on something, or makes a suggestion for sentence structure that kind of helps everything flow better and bring out the images in your head. And you find that you can pour yourself out onto this page, and for a long, quiet moment, that is what the two of you are doing. What are Crook, Georgie, and Sigrun doing?
Crook is leaning against the wall with his arms folded, watching this transpire.
Okay. Georgie?
Inspecting the stuff I recognize and kind of just taking it in as like the way the conservationist would.
Okay. Sigrun?
I think she'll just stick by Georgie right now. And also just kind of observe. She doesn't have like art history. She just has basic history. But if she needs help, if anything sticks out, she wants to like kind of poke around.
There's such a chance that Georgie is low key. It's she's trying not to lecture Sigrun. Like, oh, this is an inspiration from a 7th century medieval castle.
Sigrun will just listen. It's like,
I mean, Sigrid is a historian. She may not be an art historian, but she's able to appreciate it.
Yeah, Georgie's getting into the limestone content of the stones.
Ooh.
It is as this is happening, and Elodie and Rowan are going over Elodie's writing and working together. The three of you catch the first sight of a mostly translucent, very faint figure walking in from one of the side doors of this room. He is tall, looks like fully bedecked in armor, except that the face guard of the armor has been pushed up to show a small portion of an older man, probably in his late 40s, early 50s, show a portion of his face as he walks toward where Elodie is sitting in the head chair and stops and waits.
Rook hefts his morning star and walks forward and puts himself between Elodie and the armored guy.
I look up at the guy and blink very owlishly.
Are Georgie and Sigrun still doing their chattering, or have they stopped with the appearance of the man?
I think it's going to be stopping. Is it possible to maybe glean a type of insight if this suit of armor, like this person, is hostile or more so curious?
Sure, you can roll me wits and empathy.
If Sigrid has stopped, Georgie will catch on after maybe 30 more seconds of chatter.
I love the mental image of Georgie continuing to talk until she realizes that there's nobody listening.
I think eventually Secret's just going to like
tap her on the shoulder.
Like not just tap, but like just pivot her.
It's actually a kind of lichen they only see on the northern side of Ireland. What?
Georgie, turn.
Your empathy check. He does not look. Like he is here to be violent. He doesn't seem hostile, but he also doesn't seem particularly friendly. He just seems present.
Rook, be on standby. Don't want to make him want to fight.
Elodie kind of stares at the figure for a moment and then stands up in the chair. And after biting her lip, she just does a courtly nod and says, "Dear good Sir Knight, thank goodness that you are here. I must locate the Lady Kira immediately. It is of utmost importance to the crown."
That was not what I was expecting. I'm sorry. I had to take a minute to gather myself after that voice left you.
Rowan looks startled at first, but, quickly collects himself and just makes like he's Elodie's royal advisor.
We're playing pretend, folks.
I would like... no, I'm not going to make you roll for this. You've already done it once. The crown and the mantle both return Elodie, and you can feel the weight and the pressure. And you get the feeling that it is not simply because they are heavy that they feel like this. The knight stares at you for a moment and then speaks in a voice that is somehow a whisper and a yell all at once. Like you can hear it throughout the whole room. Everybody hears it like it's happening right next to them, even though it's in whispered tones. What was once broken now stirs. The past does not sleep forever. Will you walk the path of kings or the road to ruin?
Seems like a rather obvious choice, doesn't it? Rowan says to Elodie.
For someone who's written a lot of kings. Never mind.
But of course I am... Elodie kind of steals herself. But of course I am the king. There's no other path to walk.
But you will not walk this path alone, Your Majesty.
As if that is all the answer he is waiting for, the figure dissipates and fades. The doors that you came into, if you look out past them again, you can see that rather than looking down a set of stairs at a beach and a massive gate, you are looking down onto what looks like an ancient, long done, long over battlefield with and in the distance you could see a tall, many tall trees that are like silvery and green. They're quite a ways in the distance, but you can see a forest in the distance with the battlefield between you and them.
I clap, like to get attention, like 1, 2, and just, grooms, bring me my steed. Tally ho!
No horse appears.
Damn it.
Guess you're walking, Your Majesty.
No piggyback? No piggyback for little old me?
Walking builds character. Come on.
I think if we're going into a battlefield, you'll want your feet underneath you.
Okay, this stuff is heavy, and I do what I can to sheath the sword.
Don't whine.
You don't have a sword.
I thought I took the sword off of the rack and
Oh yes, you did.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. My bad. Wrong sword. I was like, it did not give you a sword.
I took a sword. But yeah. And I'll keep the crown and mantle even though my back hurts.
Yeah, they're not fun to carry. And the sword only seems to add to the burden. Especially because it doesn't have a sheath because you took it off of a stand that was meant to display it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna stick it through my belt.
We'll see how long your belt holds up before.
Oh yeah, my belt is going to be destroyed. Could I dream up a sheath? Or at least like a frog for my belt?
You could certainly try.
I would like to attempt it for convenience.
Roll me your total glamour. Actually, before you roll me your total glamour, I would like you to roll me your intelligence and, if you have it, academics. You do not have academics, so just your intelligence.
No successes. No, wait, 1 success.
All right, now roll me your total glamour. And one success. You get something vaguely resembling a sheath. It is not a great fit for the sword that you are carrying. And really looks like it is more for style than for functionality. But after a few minutes of struggling to get the sword into the sheath, you manage. You're not entirely sure how well it's going to go if you try to get it out.
Yeah, but it's part of the ensemble, the costume, the play acting, the drama.
Your Majesty, would you permit me to be your sword bearer this day?
Are you offering this after I just struggled for the past 6 minutes?
Yes, because now it's funny.
I'm going to take the sword and I'm going to say, Sir Crook, I mean, you're already knighted, but today you're my knight, and dink dink on the shoulder, and please take this.
Crook will take it and carry it in the hand that is not carrying his Morning Star.
Fun. Okay. Are you all heading outside?
To the trees.
Well, across the battlefield first.
Well, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Hold on. Sigrun, do you recognize this place? Before we just commit to this?
Do I recognize this place?
Nope.
No.
It's rather generic. My assessment of the situation is that the environment is adapting to the story that we are telling.
You can absolutely, those of you with Greymare can absolutely tell that this place it's a little bit set like the Dreaming created it, but it is changing and adding things in reaction to your presence and how much imagination you are putting into things. The Dreaming is incredibly malleable here.
I just hope I don't break another arm.
See, I think you're all being too logical about this. Be a kid for a little bit.
Most King's Roads do have a lot of bodies across them.
Honestly, if you saw some of the games that I played in my backyard with my siblings, you'd be like, oh my god, they're little war criminals. That's just part of... The tragedy is part of the story. And it's a part you learn from.
Sometimes.
I'd like to own what I said before about pretending to be His Majesty King Elodie's royal advisor and take on that mantle inside my mind.
What does that mantle look like? What do you imagine would change?
The way I'm dressed and perhaps just having the accoutrements that would go with that role.
Okay. Roll me your... I'm not going to make you roll your academics because you have medieval history specialty, so you should know most of this. Roll me your total glamour.
Okay. 3 successes.
All right. Your clothes shift, and you go from wearing your jacket and your vest and everything else to this much more kind of formal medieval style like nobleman's outfit. Your journal becomes less of a journal and more a like sheaf of parchment, and the pen in your hand becomes a quill.
Okay. I'd like to look at the sheath of parchment. Is there any chance there's any kind of itinerary for the day written on it?
There is not. It's basically everything that was in your journal. It's just that you have been shifted to look, and your things have been shifted to look like something a advisor would be carrying around with them.
Fair enough. Is this suitable to your Majesty? I say as I hold out my arms and show off my outfit.
Yes, quite so, quite so. What are all the rest of you wearing? I see that shirt there. That does not have the king's seal of approval, I say to Georgie.
You made this shirt for me.
I was a different person then. I now have responsibility. You gotta get dressed up. You gotta get dressed up and pretend to be like a lady of the court or something. Maybe a bard?
What? Sure. And Georgie will try to conjure up a bard look, and I think failing because what?
Play pretend. Play pretend. Play pretend with me.
She will start thinking about a look that her grandmother described to her when she was a knight, with armor and a tabard, and the way that her skin like sets over her shoulder more like a mantle as well.
Roll me. No, wait, you have the weird going on. You don't have to roll.
Yeah, just like hot.
Your clothes shift to form armor around you, and your skin becomes a long cape that is draped from your shoulders.
Better, Your Majesty.
Excellent. Excellent. Beautiful.
Oh, king. Oh, wise king. I technically already dress like I am a witch from a swamp.
You're excused.
Thank you.
Get swampier.
Oh, wise and benevolent king, please don't make me change my clothes.
It very much
so
gives...
just like, I don't know what to change into. Secret already dresses like that.
She kind of does. That's true.
Y'all, this has really given... I've been turned into a cow. Can I go home? You're excused.
All right. You all have everybody but Sigrid.
And
Has
And
changed.
Crook,
And
we're
Crook.
not escaping
Crook.
this.
Crook, what
You're
are you
playing
doing?
with us.
I am carrying your fucking sword.
And now you
That-
need to carry the bit.
No, I don't.
Please.
He makes big old eyes.
Georgie makes big ol' eyes.
And she's a seal. Like, those are big old peepers.
Sigrid, help.
I earned this outfit, including this hat, and I'm not changing it.
I'm not asking you to get rid of your hat.
Walk, Your Majesty, or carry your damn sword yourself.
One does not tell the king what to do, but that sounds like a good idea for the king to do if the king values one's fingers. Let us go.
All right. You head out of the doors and descend steps down onto this ancient abandoned battlefield. There are voices that you hear on the wind. They are mournful, calling out names. Some of them sound vaguely familiar, some of them don't. Some of them sound extremely familiar from what you know about Arthurian legends. There's no one here. You can't see anyone. There's no bodies or anything like that, but there are rusted suits of armor. There are abandoned weapons, broken shields. And as you are walking along, you can almost, at times, if when your imagination starts to run away with you, so probably mostly for Elodie, as you are looking out over the battlefield, and your mind kind of starts to fill in what happened here and starts to play out what may have ended in the battlefield being left this way. You catch glimpses that it's unclear if they're in your mind's eye or if you're actually watching them play out in front of you, where you can see like full color, like vicious battle happening, but then you blink and it's gone.
Do you all see that?
Yes.
Maybe we should hurry.
Is anybody stopping to look at anything, or are you all just pressing on?
I want it so bad.
You
I'm
can if
actually
you
gonna have
want
to.
to.
I'm gonna have to, like, pick high or low.
Hi.
Despite her best efforts, Elodie does just stop and stare.
You just gotta sometimes.
The
She's
dice
gonna look
decide.
around.
What did Sigrun say?
She'll look around.
Okay. Georgie?
Yeah, we're gonna stop and look.
How closely are people looking? Are you just like watching, or are you like going out to look at specific things? What's happening?
I think based on her nature, Elodie stops and watches and analyzes what is happening in these battles. And after a moment, she's just, Squire, bring me my sword. And she's like getting really hyped, and she looks like she is going to charge into a fight.
Elodie, I would like you to roll me your glamour rating, please.
That's 4 successes.
4 successes. Okay, yeah. There is definitely a section of the battlefield that everybody can see where instead of being a like forgotten place where bodies fell ages ago and it's just the items that remain, that section has gone from being kind of like, you know, dark and half mist covered and quiet and still to it looks like it is bright as the middle of the day, and there are figures in armor that are doing hard battle, and it's about 25-30 yards away from all of you.
Rook will bring Elodie the sword. Here you are, my liege. Stay close to me.
Elodie looks at him with like big old eyes, being like, really?
Yeah.
And I'm going to take the sword and I'm going to say, charge! And I'm going to rush into battle.
Fuck.
As you do, I make sure I have the scroll of parchment ready, and I am going to start recording the events as they happen, writing it like a story.
Okay, I would like Sigrun specifically to make me intelligence and empathy. To make me an intelligence and empathy roll, please.
Okay, as I sneeze.
Bless you.
Take a D4.
Thank you.
Wait, wrong game.
Oh. Nah, I won't do willpower. 3 successes.
Okay. Georgie, what are you doing?
Clara's having a thonk. Observing. And then Georgie will turn to Rowan and Sigrun. I think my fatal flaw is I keep trying to make sense of all of this. What do we remember about the history of High King David?
What do I remember about the history of High King David?
A fair bit. You remember that he was raised among a bunch of other noble she children, and that in the middle of the war, the former king was slain and the sword was lost. And it was David who recovered it when he slipped away on his own. I mean, it's when I say there's a fair bit, there is a fair bit. I'm not sure what you're asking for, and that's a lot of.
I was looking for the war. I was looking for what happened during the war. I'll explain it as that Georgie is looking at what we are seeing and is trying to parse whether this is Arthurian. Like we are on the path of, if we're on the path of kings, is this Arthurian? Is this King David?
This is certainly more Arthurian than King David, just because of the timeline. King David's war happened in like modern day America.
Yeah, but Fae.
Yeah, no, it didn't look anything like this.
Cool. In which case, Georgie's just trying to kind of see, cross-reference what she's seeing with what she knows of Arthurian legend, then trying to pinpoint if she recognizes people, etc.
Okay. As Georgie begins to pick over the pieces of the battlefield that are not alive and actively fighting, and Elodie and Crook, or I'm assuming Crook is chasing Elodie.
Yes.
Okay. Again.
Elodie is still wearing a crown and a cloak, and other than that, her normal clothes, right?
Yep.
With a bunch of armored people wielding broadswords.
Yep.
Yeah.
Broadswords, morning stars, giant shields. It's a lot, and Elodie is very exposed.
I was hoping to have a, for lack of a better term, I was hoping to have an Avengers moment of the Iron Man suit coming over me as I run in the dreaming into armor.
That's cute. You didn't take the time to focus on that, so that's not what's happening.
Damn it.
You charge off towards this fighting. Georgie finds a place where a forgotten suit of armor is laying and kneels down to examine it. Rowan is writing all of this down feverishly, and it's a lot. It's a lot to keep up with because now there are multiple people doing multiple things, Rowan. And Sigrun, you are watching this, as is kind of your role in this group is frequently to be the one who observes, and occasionally gives warnings when you have them. You realize belatedly that you all were asked a question before you stepped out onto the battlefield.
Oh, shit.
And you are standing in the middle of an ancient battlefield that no one ever bothered to clean up. And now Elodie has managed to bring that battle, at least part of it, into the present. As you have this realization and the words, oh shit, slip from your lips, Georgie, you lean down and touch the face guard on one of these armored helms. And lift it, mostly out of curiosity to see if it'll still move or if it is rusted shut, and realize that you are looking in at a skull. These aren't just suits of armor. These are where bodies fell.
Georgie will jump scare and stumble backwards.
And you realize as you look up and kind of look around you, and there's like this moment of panic, like, oh my God, where am I? And you realize that you were standing in the middle of effectively a graveyard that no one bothered to create actual graves in. You catch sight of one of the banners that is fluttering from a forgotten, like, I forget what they're called, the poles that the banners used to hung from, that people would carry around. Standards. And you realize that one of the very, very faded, barely visible banners has the swirl of waves on it, and a seal settled on those waves.
Why would... Sigrin.
Yes, child.
I don't know enough about changing history to know to be able to recognize anything beyond. I think this is a Selcrest banner.
Can she?
Just for reference, that is less a Selcrest banner and just like a symbol that is common to all Selkies.
Yeah. There's no skin with him though, right? Or like nearby the banner or any of these bodies.
That would take time for you to find. You'd have to make a roll and actively look for it. I'm not going to answer that question otherwise.
Can I?
Let's give Sigrid a chance to respond react, because Sigrid just had a pretty heavy realization.
Now, BP, could you remind me just very quickly the words that the knight said? Brain fog happened, so I can only remember bits and pieces before I could respond fully.
What once was broken now stirs. The past does not sleep forever. Will you walk the path of kings or the road to ruin?
So, it appears that this is a graveyard that hasn't been, cleaned up properly. If you remember what the knight in the castle said, the past doesn't stay the past for long. It will stir. And I think Elodie made the choice of it being a particular king-related graveyard.
Elodie and Crook.
Hi.
You have charged into battle and are unaware of what your companions, the rest of your motley, is realizing about the place where you are. You don't even have time to have thoughts about that because you have immediately charged into a very dangerous situation where you are plunging yourself into the middle of heated, pitched battle.
Elodie is laughing and giggling as though this is all some big fun game. She is almost overjoyed, and it might be that moment that Crook remembers she has never been really exposed to this level of the dreaming and is still a childling and extremely susceptible to flights of fancy. And it is in this moment that I think you might realize that she's I don't think that she thinks she'll get hurt.
I require you both to look at the bot channel and join initiative, please. /init space roll. I'm just going to have all of the NPCs go on the same turn for the sake of time. Elodie, you are first.
I'm fast as heck. So, I'm seeing a bunch of folks fighting. Who looks like the bad guy?
There is no specific bad guy looking person. It's a bunch of knights in armor.
And there are no standards nearby?
There are standards, but that doesn't really reveal much to you. Let's see. I will allow you to roll me a perception and empathy to see if you can get a feel for what side you would like to join.
Rad. That's 3 successes.
Okay. You can... Trying to think of how to describe this. There is a banner with a roaring lion on it that seems kind of quintessentially almost cartoony, like, I don't want to say royalty, but like nobility-esque. You know what I mean? It's red and gold. It's, you know, got little bits of white in there. There is also a banner that is in kind of purple and blue, and has a like a almost like the tree of life or the world tree, but wrapped around it is like a serpentine style dragon. If you are looking for the winning side seems to be the one with the dragon on their banner.
Elodie thinks for a very strong moment and then remembers her king character, and she's gonna have her sword in her hand and just stop the violence in the name of your king. And if they don't heed, she's gonna jump into battle.
Okay. Crook.
Because I'm on a power trip, I guess.
Crook, what are you doing?
Crook is doing everything he can to keep Elodie from getting hit, which means he's throwing himself in the way of anything that comes at her.
Okay. Well, nothing happens when Elodie yells to try and stop the battle. You're unsure if they are unaware that she is there, if they are simply not heeding her, or if the fact that the king is present doesn't particularly matter. So, Elodie plunges herself into the middle of the fray. Immediately, danger is kind of all around. And let's see. Trying to think of how to describe this. There is going to be an attempt, or there are going to be people swinging, and I will, let's see. I would like Georgie to high or low.
Oh, come on. Low.
I will establish right
That's
now.
high.
If a large number of people appear to be swarming on Georgie,
You mean Elodie?
Elodie. Crook will just throw himself over her.
Okay.
I would like to establish that, like a child, Elodie keeps pushing boundaries until someone tells her she can't. And no one has done that yet. Everyone's really encouraging her, and I feel so bad.
This is what permissive parenting gets us.
Literally, that's what's happening right now.
Elodie.
Hi.
Oh, you got lucky, boo-boo.
Haha, that's me. Dumb luck.
Crook, make me a dex and athletics roll, please. See if you can intervene before she gets hit, because she is going to get hit. She's just not going to get hit as hard as I thought she might.
4 successes.
Okay, then I'm going to need you to roll your stamina, please.
Is this a soak roll?
Yes.
Okay.
And they're going to roll. They got 2. All right. You watch as Elodie plunges into the middle of this heated battle, and you see one of the swords come up high overhead and start arcing down. It's a little bit wild. It seems like nobody noticed that she was there until the sword was already moving. And you throw yourself in and you bring your Morning Star up at the last second. To kind of hit the flat of the blade and change its direction, where it glances off of the Morning Star itself. You can feel the vibration down the handle of it and up into your arms, shakes through your whole body. That was very real, and could have been very deadly had it hit her, or you, for that matter.
As he stands there, he turns back, kind of over his shoulder at Elodie. Run.
Her little smile kind of falls.
This
What?
isn't pretend. Run.
Elodie kind of stumbles back at the yelling and drops the sword and turns and runs.
Elodie, I'm going to need dex and athletics, please. And it's a good thing you dropped the sword. Your difficulty, however, is going to be a 7. Because you still have the mantle and everything on.
Dex and what?
Athletics?
Perfect. 3 successes.
All right.
2 10s. Does that do anything?
You don't have any specialties, so
Hey, you're right.
you
Oh wait, I do have a specialty in dexterity.
you should have a specialty in dexterity. What's your specialty?
Yeah, it was light-footed, I believe, footwork.
Ah, then that would be a 5. Not a 3. All right. Your eyes go a little wide as you realize that Crook is not playing around. And you can kind of you glance up enough to see 2 swords kind of crash into each other, and you realize that there are literal sparks coming off of where the metal contacts. Maybe this is more real than you realized. You are suddenly aware that you can feel your feet and your shoes kind of sinking into the mud, and you glance down and realize that the mud is as much blood as it is dirt. And you take off back towards the others in your motley. Crook.
Crook is going to stay here for at least a turn, but he will attempt to buy Elodie time by giving his best red cap smile, hefting his morning star, and going, "Which of you wants to die last?"
All right.
And trying to scare the bejesus out of a bunch of knights.
Okay. Make me a. Having a moment. Hold on. Sorry. Yeah, let's go with manipulation and intimidation. And I will allow your specialty for the look to come into play.
Yay. You know what? This feels important, and I'm protecting my king, so I've been told. I'm going to spend a point of willpower.
Okay.
5 successes.
5 is certainly pretty good. I will have that raise their difficulty by 2 to 8. Holy cow.
Uh-oh.
Oh no. For those at home who can't see what just happened, I rolled 8 dice at difficulty 8 and 4 of them were 10s. They have a specialty, so that's 9 successes total.
Oh no.
Yes.
Cool, good talk.
Oh, Jesus Christ. All right.
You never get to complain about your dice luck again.
Listen, this isn't a time I wanted to do well. This is rough. Okay.
And I'm certainly not dodging, because that's not the point of the exercise, so let me have it.
Okay.
Did I just kill Crook?
You may have seriously fucked him up, that's for sure. That's a lot of dice. That's 12 for damage. And there's no botches.
Only 12? Wow.
I only gave him a +4. And they have a 8 above your threshold, so.
Yep.
That would be 6. Roll me your stamina, please. So that's 4 levels of damage. This is both physical and chimerical because you were in the dreaming. A sword comes down at you. I don't know who all is watching the combat from the sidelines where everybody else was. Rowan certainly sees this. A sword comes down in an arc as you see Crook, who is not wearing armor, has not decided to, let's say, lean in to the bit and thus did not give himself any sort of protection. And this sword nearly opens him up from shoulder to hip. And you watch as blood blossoms from his midsection. As Elodie, who has her back to him, does not notice because she is running at a breakneck speed toward you.
Thank you for listening to District of Dreams. If you enjoy this story, please make sure to subscribe and review wherever you're listening to our podcast. You can find more of our actual plays on our website at www.hallowedhavenstudios.com. Please consider supporting us on Patreon at patreon.com/hallowedhavenstudios. Your support helps make more stories like this possible. Yes. What I'd like to do in reaction to what I'm seeing is, I'm seeing Elodie come towards me. I want to catch her in a fatherly embrace to, stop her from running away.
Elodie, you sprint towards the group, and as you do, a pair of arms wrap around you.
Rowan, let me go.
No, this is not the way. We need to stay. We need to stay together. I know it's hard. I know that you're facing something that you can't abide right now. But we must stay together. Stay with our friends.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I know. Heroes must face hard times, and this is one of them. Strength will come from within here. I know how much you care about him.
I don't know what to do. And she just buries her face against Rowan and doesn't say anything else.
Rowan doesn't say anything further either. He lets a comforting hand do the talking for him in this particular case.
Okay. Back out on the battlefield. Crook?
Crook turns to the guy the armored figure who just split him open, spits a little blood over his shark teeth, goes, "My turn," and swings for all he's worth with his Morning Star.
Okay. Make your roll.
I will spend a point of willpower to ignore wound penalties for a turn.
All right. Let's drop your difficulty to 5 because you did intimidate them.
Okay. 6
well
successes.
done. 6 successes isn't bad at all.
Brilliant.
That's 4 threshold successes.
Okay. So it'll be 10 dice of damage.
Damn. Okay. Yeah, you hit him back hard, and you watch as the side of the breastplate that he is wearing seems to cave in slightly, and you hear as the spikes on your Morning Star sink in and manage to pierce the metal.
And softly, as now I have returned the strike, now I'm thinking about leaving, but I've already taken my action. But softly, kind of almost under his breath, and can't hear it in the din of the battle, "No one picks on little sister but me."
Okay. The rest of you, what are you doing?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Sigrun is just watching in horror, unsure what to do. What about Georgie, Elodie, Rowan?
Elodie does not trust herself to even look because right now she is in the mindset of, I can only make things worse.
That's fair. Rowan and Georgie? Going to assume Rowan is still comforting. Elodie
Yes,
at the moment.
100%. He wraps his robe around Elodie as if to shield her from whatever physical cold is in the air and to add that extra layer of comfort.
Okay. Georgie?
I'm trying not to do something stupid.
You could just say you don't want to do anything if you don't want to do anything.
No, I want to, but I'm not going. I'm gonna wait.
Okay.
I do have a question. For sparrows and nightingales, I know that it is tailored to be for the player specific, of like changing something on the player. Is it possible to try to force and extend that spell to be on someone else?
Can you tell me where to look for said spell? No, I will give you specifics. Because I do not have these all memorized.
No worries. It's under Metamorphosis on 209.
Okay. All right. What exactly do you want to do?
This is another issue of looking at two different books from White Wolf. I think initially I wanted to see if maybe I could help with camouflaging Crook to help him be able to get out better, but it seems like it's only something where you can only shift minor things. So I don't know if it is something where I can actually do something to benefit him in this scenario.
I tell you what.
Mm-hmm.
I will allow. Let's see. I will allow you to do. I'm going to say that I will allow, because you are in the dreaming and you are currently kind of soaked in glamour. I will allow you, if you would like to use that to shift his clothes into armor. It won't necessarily make him faster, but it might provide him the protection he needs.
Yeah,
while he's running. Okay. You are changing an item and you have prop, so you're good. So I'm going to allow. I'm going to want you to make your roll.
Okay.
Too many things open.
What is the?
You're and I need to know if you're doing a bunk.
Yes, I would like to do that. I think the way that she's going to work this in is the armors that are around her, especially the one that Georgie pointed out to her. I think she's going to kneel, and as she is looking dead on to where Crook is, she's going to. The best way to put this is molesting the armor itself and feeling like the ridges, the grooves of the armor, as she is focusing dead on Crook to manifest that armor onto him or something similar.
Can you explain that again? I'm sorry.
Yeah, so she is fondling the armor that is near her and feeling the ridges of it, feeling all the crooks and crannies, so she can get a form in her mind as she's touching it, and she's going to push that magic in the direction of Crook.
Okay. That is a very simple, mundane thing. Doesn't go terribly far. So it's only going to give you a -1 to your difficulty.
That's fine.
Spend a point of glamour. Oh no, wait. I'm sorry. Yes. Sorry. Yes. Spend a point of glamour. And then roll. Your dice pool. Is the level of the lowest realm being used. So you're only using the one, so.
I'm assuming I'm doing this right. Never mind. Did not go well.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Okay. So botches trigger nightmare rolls, I believe, or just give you nightmare, I believe. Botching a glamour or a cantrip gives you a nightmare, so take a nightmare.
Okay.
Nothing. It does not work. Crook, you can feel as you are running, like your coat, and your shirt start to feel kind of stiff and difficult to move in, and then it fades away.
Okay.
It's weird. Something happened while you were running, but it didn't take. Okay. Georgie, are you doing anything else?
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna try to use Quicksilver on Crook. I have to spend a point of glamour because I only have 1 dot in Fey.
Okay.
Do you need the text for Quicksilver?
I believe that's the one that just makes you faster, right?
Basically.
Yeah. That's fine. Okay, make your roll. What's your bunk gonna be if you're gonna have one?
George gets up and starts running in place, wearing all of her armor and stuff until she sweats, takes a flick of, wipes her brow for a second and flicks it at, in the direction of Crook.
Interesting. Okay.
Don't ask.
I'll give you a -1 for that.
Nasty.
It is kind of gross.
I know.
Remember last session when Georgie was having an orgy? And now this is where we're at.
Oh my god. Okay.
It rhymes.
Georgie orgy pudding and pie.
I'm gonna walk into the sea.
But you're a Selkie. That's nothing new.
Sorry, I'm doing like basic math. I'm like trying to remember how my what my roll is going to end up being for this.
Well, you have to spend extra glamour to buy your Fae up to 2.
I know. Would that then be my lowest realm being 2?
Yes.
Used as 2 then? Okay.
Yes. And your difficulty is going to be 7 because you took a bonk.
No whammies, no whammies. 2 successes.
You did not roll your nightmare die.
God damn it!
So re-roll and include your nightmare. Now, if I remember correctly, the way that the bot works is that you put in your total die pool and then you say how many nightmare you have.
Yeah, I
and
got it.
It swaps one, so.
4 successes. I must have done this wrong.
No, you did it right. Crook, your legs are suddenly moving much, much faster than they had been.
Yay!
As you are running. You take off like a shot.
Don't ask what you smell like.
To be clear, you flick it at him. It doesn't actually get on him, and it does not impact how he smells. All right. Go ahead.
I am presuming my enemies get at least one last swing as I turn to bolt. But
It does, but it's going to be much, much harder for them to hit you now. Well, I say much, much harder.
Yeah, that didn't do me any favors last time.
I say much, much harder, but I really mean the difficulty is going to remain elevated at where it was because you are moving very fast, which makes you harder to hit. 4.
Okay.
2. Roll your soak. All right. The back of your coat tears, but it does not. The sword does not meet your flesh. And in what seems like a wink, you are standing in front of your motley. Elodie is not looking at you. Rowan has his arms around her. And Georgie has the distinct smell of glamour to her, even more so than the rest of the place around you does.
I don't feel so good.
Let's get you out of here.
Okay.
Is the castle still there, or have we moved on to a completely different place?
This battlefield, is there a lake?
A medic's tent, perhaps?
And
Hold on. Well, I have too many questions going on.
Sorry.
I need...
Crook was asking that in character
Right, gotcha.
of everyone around him because he's not going to look around for things right now.
I need Elodie, high or low?
Low.
That's high. You turn and look, and the castle is gone. You seem to be on what seems like an endless battlefield in one direction, and in the other direction is simply the forest with the silvery trees.
We need to get you to a place where you can rest.
Can we think of a lake? Georgie actually has asks the group this.
I envision, and I'm going to say this aloud so that everyone knows what I'm trying to envision. A cottage by a lake in a quiet place. Sounds of nature all around. Tranquility and calm abound all around us. I close my eyes and try my hardest to envision that.
Roll me your total glamour, please. Oh dear.
That's a botch.
That's a botch.
No.
Not only does what you are imagining not come to pass, but the area where live fighting is happening seems like it is spreading. You guys kind of watch in horror as what were quiet and still old suits of armor begin to stand up all around you.
Run, go as fast as you can. Just get away from this place. Come on, let's run. And I take off.
Holding his innards in, Crook starts to murmur, He wants to try and keep it under his breath, but he can't because he's trying to just make sound. So saying, from the ruined shrine he stepped, and in the moon athwart the place of tombs, where they the mighty bones of ancient men, old knights, and over them the sea wind sang, shrill, chill, with flakes of foam. He stepping down by zigzag paths, and juts of pointing rock came on the shining levels of the lake. The line of Idols of the King, where Bedivere is taking Excalibur back to throw it back.
Are you using that for a bunk for something?
I am trying what everyone else has tried, and Crook has been terrified to do up to now. I am trying to manifest something in the dreaming.
Okay. Roll me your total glamour. Drop your difficulty to, let's drop it to 4.
Double check. I think my glamour is 6. Yes, my glamour is 6. 3 successes.
Okay. You watch as everything as you all begin to move as quickly as you dare across a battlefield that seems like it is coming to life around you. You watch as doesn't have any distinct features of a pathway, but feels and seems like a pathway to your instincts. Like there is a clear path to follow through the carnage that is coming to life around you, off towards the trees. And a part of you knows beyond the shadow of a doubt that if you can make it that far, you will find a lake.
Everyone follow me.
Right behind you.
Okay. Everybody runs. I would like to see, or I would like a roll from Crook of stamina and athletics.
Sure. We will spend another point of willpower to ignore our wounds for a little bit longer. 3 successes.
Okay. You are able to hold yourself together out of sheer force of will. You're just too stubborn to die. And you all take off across this battlefield as it comes to life around you. Fed half by Elodie's desire to plunge into the story without thinking, and half by Rowan's fear for what will come from all of this. Because it seems like you all at least stepped foot onto the road to ruin, however briefly. And you find yourself breaking through a line of silvery trees into a clearing. It is peaceful here, and the sounds of battle fade into the background. Sorry, go ahead.
Crook says, "That's pretty," and then he falls down.
Oh, there he goes.
Your Motley member is bleeding out in front of you guys.
Yeah, I'm. Can I check it? I have no ability to do this, but I do want to check his wounds, see how bad they are.
Give me a intelligence roll at difficulty 7.
I'm like, what?
I really should make it higher, but it's kind of obvious it's bad, so I'm only going to make it 1 higher.
Wow, I botched. It's fine.
Can I try at least?
Georgie, you kneel down beside Crook to try and start to help him. And you don't necessarily do any extra damage, but he certainly makes several noises of pain as you try to help.
Stop!
I have no idea. I have no idea what I'm doing.
Elodie smacks her hands over her ears and closes her eyes.
Sigrun, you can absolutely make a raw intelligence roll at difficulty 7.
Hopefully that works.
Is assistance allowed if we lack the ability necessary?
Normally in less skilled areas, I would say absolutely. But medicine is medicine. It's,
understandable.
You kind of have to learn it.
Yeah.
Sigrun's just gonna sit back.
Sigrun, you don't hurt him and you don't make it worse, but you also have no idea what to do. It's a lot. There is so much blood.
I think we should push him into the lake.
Can I?
Please allow him.
I'm sorry, what?
Mm.
Common sense would argue that we should at least stop the bleed. Push it back together, put cotton on or something to stop the bleeding. That is as far as I think I can get with common sense.
Okay. Can I have a go and make a pleading liberal case for the creative specialty under intelligence to come up with a creative solution to this problem? I will spend the willpower.
So normally I don't think you're supposed to have specialties come in if you don't have the skill, but I will allow it because y'all are in dire fucking straits and you're in a place of pure creativity.
Cool. Thank you. All right, so I am going to spend a willpower for this because
Thank
my
God.
God, we need it. Thank God I got one back last time. Here we go. Still a fail.
One success. That's fine.
One success. Okay, one success.
One success is enough that it is not going to be pleasant for Crook. It is going to hurt like hell, but you are able to help him stop the bleeding.
I'm terribly sorry, Crook. This is the best I can do, I think. I need to
Rowan,
take a first aid
Rowan,
course.
Rowan. If you apologize for trying to save my life again, I'm going to eat your books.
Please don't. They're first editions.
Rowan.
Okay, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it, and I back away.
Our dads are fighting.
Elodie.
Elodie still has her hands over her ears and eyes squeezed shut, and she's sitting on the ground, faced away from everything.
Can I pivot to just hug Elodie and hold Elodie for a second?
Yeah, unless she stops you.
She's gonna try to squirm away.
No, you get big sister in lap. Hug. You're pulled into. I'm pulling you into my lap.
Don't stop it. Stop it.
Elodie, come here.
I don't want to.
I'll carry you.
Part of being a king is doing things you don't want to do.
I take off the crown and I shuck it as hard as I can into the lake.
The lake isn't here yet. You haven't gotten that far.
Then never mind. I just shuck it as hard as I can. It's gone forever.
Come here.
Elodie moves over but doesn't look at him.
Crook takes his hat off, and he's had his hands over his wounds for a while, and so he's just wiping the blood off of his hands onto his hat. Look at me.
She does, but with her eyes, her eyes are looking at Crook's forehead and not his eyes.
This is not your fault.
Elodie does not say anything.
I gave you back that sword. I followed you into battle. And he grins his big shark mouth of now very bloody teeth. And I'd do it again tomorrow. This is not your fault. And I'm not dead. So suck it up.
She does not say anything. It doesn't look like she can.
Crook, are you able to walk or do you need assistance?
I'll probably need help to stand up.
Well, Elodie, you need to probably help the man because I surely can't.
Come here,
like
Runt.
the other stronger one.
Come here, Runt. Help me up.
I'm gonna hurt you.
No, you're not.
She moves to help him up.
Okay. You manage to get Crook to his feet. It's not difficult with Elodie's strength. Crook is clearly in pain, but is holding himself together, and the shreds of his jacket have been turned into his bandages. You all are standing in a clearing. There are multiple paths away from the clearing.
Can I still tell which way the lake is?
You get the feeling that any of the paths will take you there, but each path will present something different. There are 2 larger paths that seem easier to follow, and a number of smaller ones that seem like they may be harder to keep track of because they are smaller and less well trod.
I turn to the rest of the group and I say, I can consult with the trees again. see what I can learn about these paths and which journey will be the best to follow.
They'll all take us to the lake.
Indeed, but what will we find on the way?
And Crook does something really weird. He assumes a Yoda voice for a second. Only what you take with you. Oh.
See, it's painful to be funny. Don't be funny.
I turn to the trees and I begin to recite Hansel and Gretel's journey through the forest, dropping the breadcrumbs. And as I do so, I am actually going to take out one of the muffins and drop muffin crumbs on the ground, which is sad for me because it means I can't eat them. And then, get to the part where Hansel and Gretel have lost their way, and then turn to the trees as if to look for an answer. And I will cast, what is the name of that? Will-O-Wisper.
I will allow that to be a -2 to your difficulty.
Wonderful. Actually, which realm am I going to need for this?
Let's see. You were in a weird place, so that's actually a good question. That is something only I can answer. You don't have prop, but you do have scene, and you have actor, and the dreaming is weird. Yeah, I would say you're probably using actor and scene together.
Okay, so that's going to increase my difficulty back up 1, which means I'm sitting at 7 now?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So that's 2 successes.
Okay. The trees around you kind of shudder and groan a little bit, and you realize after a moment that they are moving just a little bit around you.
Wise ones, there are many paths before us to our destiny at the nearby lake. Which will get us there the most safely? We have one with us who is grievously wounded. He needs a place to rest.
There is a pause while you listen to a gentle breeze moving its way through the branches around you, before a symphony of voices come back. It is quiet and soft, like a number of people whispering and sighing all at the same time. Each path can take you to your destination. Your difficulty in reaching it is determined by those who wish to walk these paths. One may walk free of harm, or one may walk into harm and have it and be undone by their choices.
So it is choice and perhaps intention, rather than the place itself, that will determine our fate.
The worst path is a straight line.
Very well. Thank you.
The trees give a little shudder again, and there's another sigh, and then they go quiet, leaving you with the distinct impression that they have said all that they will say.
Yeah. And throughout all this, the rest of the motley hears Rowan only speaking in a whisper. It's a nice quiet cantrip. I'm sure Sigrun would appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. Sigrun can make out your side of the conversation, but does not understand what is being said back.
The trees inform me that the worst path is a straight line, but also that it is our choices that determine our fate. They don't always give a straight answer.
I would like everybody to make me wits and empathy checks.
Does being a good listener play into this at all? This would be
Yeah,
my
I'd allow
merit.
that.
Okay.
Hell yeah. Does that make it a specialty?
Yes. If you have that specialty, you can use it.
Mine is a merit that decreases my difficulty by 2.
Ah, okay.
I botched it.
I see that.
I should write the text of my merits down.
That's really indicative of what Elodie's feeling right now.
Okay.
Oh no!
Crook got 0. Elodie botched.
No, I botched. I forgot to include my wound penalty.
Cool. Crook and Elodie both botched.
Got 5 successes.
2 successes.
Sigrun? Oh, you did. You rolled and you just failed.
Yeah,
Okay.
I failed.
All right. So we have 2 botches, a failure, 5 successes, and 2 successes. Thankfully, this is a relatively passive roll, so the botches aren't going to hurt you. Except that they might annoy the fuck out of you because it's hard to understand what's happening because none of these paths look like straight lines. Georgie, you have the distinct impression that there are multiple layers of meaning in the way that the trees were talking, and that it may not be as straightforward as it sounds.
Nothing
Rowan,
is.
Rowan, you very specifically get the feeling that when they said a straight line, when they said the most dangerous path is a straight line, that they maybe weren't talking about the path itself so much as the approach to the problems that you may be presented along the way.
It's more about our approach, is what I gathered from what they said. So we need to think outside the box meaning, accepted reality and, logic.
I just want to go swim. If there's a lake, I want to swim in it. Let's go. Just pick anything.
Was there a tree who is sort of the spokes tree, for lack of a better term?
You couldn't tell which tree specifically was talking. You get the feeling that they were all kind of answering you.
Okay. All right, then I go to the last crumb of muffin that I drop. Whatever path is closest to that crumb is the one I am going to choose.
Okay. Is everybody following Rowan?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Rowan
Off I go.
sets down along a path with the rest of you tagging along.
We're just little ducklings.
Just little ducklings.
Well, I'm a duckling. Y'all are whatever you are. I don't think I can call you ducklings, specifically not Crook.
I would like Rowan to roll me straight perception because you do not have survival.
Right.
Unfortunately, detail-oriented will not... Well, yeah, no, actually, detail-oriented will absolutely help you.
Oh, perfect. Sorry, standard difficulty?
Yes.
Cool. That's going to be 4 successes.
All right, you were doing your best to follow this path, and at multiple times while you are doing so, you realize that the path is actively shifting and changing as you are taking it. Thankfully, you only end up going in a circle once before you catch it and get yourself back on track.
Sorry about that. It's this way, and I point further along the path as I right myself.
Okay. So, we are going to do something unusual that I love doing in games because it helps foster teamwork. You guys are in a forest that it seems to be alive and is actively changing and working to make your lives harder. Rowan has established that to some degree he can kind of keep you on the path and keep you from becoming hopelessly lost, but this is going to require teamwork where everybody contributes something to find where you need to go and to and to get there in the shortest amount of time possible. So I want everybody to look at your sheets, think about what you can contribute to the effort, and then tell me, and I'm going to have you roll, and I will take your total successes and add them together. And however many rounds that takes to get the total number of successes I think you need to get to where, at least to the first stop on this little journey. We'll determine how long this takes. Okay?
Sure.
Skill challenge.
Okay.
That's what we're doing.
So pure skill, no arts or realms?
No. I'm not going to have you guys using cantrips for this.
Okay.
Okay.
Because I'm aware that multiple of you have Wayfair and could just try to use it to bypass the whole thing.
Thought through the
You
plan.
also get the feeling, and this is something those of you with Wayfair would be aware of. You get the feeling that your cantrips won't behave themselves here anyway, because your cantrips kind of rely on a certain amount of stability, and this place is not stable. It is actively moving.
It also sort of is the shortest path between, like, the straightest line is, teleporting.
In theory, yeah.
So,
Okay. Go ahead, Crook.
so as we continue to turn corners and things are shifting around us, occasionally the trees are like blocking the view and turning the path this way and that. Crook kind of steps up off of Elodie's support for a second, lifts his Morning Star, and just bashes tree branches and other things out of the way. As whenever there's a moment where they stop and, like, the two grumps and maybe Georgie are all going, well, I saw this, I can't see over there, and he will walk forward and just bash a bunch of tree branches down, say, can you see better now?
All right. Go ahead.
I would like to roll some melee.
Yeah. Strength plus melee. Your bashing weapons will apply.
All right. So, and then dropping 2 dice, 4 successes.
All right. That is 4 getting added on to your eventual total. Elodie, what are you contributing?
Elodie has, to an extent, kind of shrunk into themselves, and usually they are yapping up a storm, will not stop talking, will not stop making observations or jokes or blah, blah, blah. And instead, they are keeping quiet and just focusing their attention on trying to anticipate the shifts around them. And in doing so, I'd like to try and utilize my alertness.
Okay. Yeah, I'll make that. Let's go wits and alertness.
Is there any chance I could use my leadership skill to support others, or was my perception roll my contribution to this?
You can make your own roll, but it's not going to give other people extra dice. It would basically just add to the total number of successes that you guys get.
That is 5 successes for Elodie.
Okay, so 5 and 4, that's 9 total. Effectively, Rob, your earlier roll helped set the difficulty.
I see.
For how many total you guys need. So you did pretty good. Georgie.
All right, so hear me out.
This is the tone you take right before you say you want to do something stupid.
Nah, I'm not gonna do something stupid, but you're gonna have to hear me out.
Okay.
I have a specialty in chemistry, but I do have 3 dots in science.
Okay.
Would one argue?
Where is this going?
Could one argue that some of the earlier, like, undergrad science work include anything that would involve natural sciences?
I mean, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's just a requirement to take a chemistry major. At some point, you're going to have to do some natural science work.
Like an O-chem situation. Anyway, would I be able to use that in a way to find, like, to, like, get a sense of direction? I understand this is an insane question.
So getting a sense of direction is definitely more of a survival thing.
Yeah, I know, but I only have 1 dot in survival.
What you could do is you could attempt to utilize your understanding of the natural world to pick up on clues that what's the word I'm looking for? pick up on signals on what direction something is. It is less about like I just know where north is, and more like little tricks like I know this isn't actually true in real life, but like the little moss only grows on the north side of the tree
that
trick.
That was sort of what I was thinking of.
Maybe because you are in the dreaming, you could try to force it to adapt to the rules that you have in your head. I would allow that.
I'll take it.
So, because you are trying to force the dreaming to adapt to what you are imagining, you are going to have to roll your total glamour.
Oh, it's still more dice. Would I have to?
Roll me your intelligence and science first, and then I'll tell you what your difficulty is for the glamour roll.
Standard difficulty?
Yes. This
Do I get to use my
particular roll
specialty?
does not. Huh?
Do I get to use my specialty?
What's your specialty?
Chemistry.
No.
Okay, 2 successes.
Your difficulty is going to be 5 on your glamour roll. Those 2 successes do not add to the skill challenge. It's just to figure out if you could lower your difficulty.
2 more successes.
All right, that puts you guys at a total of 11. Rowan.
Yes. Okay. So I've got a couple of possibilities here. One is to use my leadership or possibly empathy skill, whichever you think is more appropriate, to help boost morale a bit with some kind, encouraging words to, not cheer people up, but at least,
Keep everybody working together as a well-oiled machine, so to speak.
Yeah, that or possibly employing my knowledge of kenning, or skill with kenning rather, to sort of feel out the direction.
I honestly think that charisma and leadership works perfectly for what you have in mind.
Great.
This is, you are taking the skills of the people around you and helping them to figure out how to apply them, while also, keeping people believing that this is possible.
All right, I'm going to go for it. It's 4 successes.
All right, very good. That brings you guys up to 15. Sigrun.
I'm so scared. Okay, so
I'm so scared.
I would like to use sharpened senses to be, and I want to work it in a way to keep on the lookout or be more sensibly aware of sounds that could be off. So like sensing if like hearing out for like danger, if anything is coming toward this haunted path. And if possible, because I have a specialty in perception, which is my clairvoyance, I would like try to push the divination to help me be more aware of potential future threats. This also could be just me being 5 cups deep in tea and I'm not making sense anymore.
Well, so the problem is we are looking to avoid double dipping, so I'm not going to let you go into alertness, which is what this would normally be. However,
Okay.
Given your sharpened senses, and your attempt to look out for danger, you could certainly use dexterity and stealth to try and help people move quietly, just in case there is some sort of threat around you.
Okay. So with the sharpened senses, that is, actually, no, that's for...
It's not really going to... The sharpened senses isn't going to impact your roll, really. Okay. But I could see you applying it in a way that is about knowing when stepping on something is going to be too loud or whatever.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So stealth and dexterity. Oh, please be kind. Okay, 1.
All right. That puts you guys at 16. We are going to need 4 more to get to at least the first place where you can properly rest. So we are going to start over from the top. Crook.
Well,
This is a reset on what skills get used, by the way. Like you can use the same one again if you would like to. You can swap to something else if that would work best for you. And it's been about an hour. At least it feels like it's been roughly an hour.
Yeah, I mean, everything Crook does hurts, so he's just going to go with the thing he knows best and continue bashing things out of the way.
All right. Strength and melee. Don't forget your specialty.
5 successes.
All right, that clears 20. Perfect. You guys continue on. Crook is kind of gray, in more so than usual. Like even for him, he's really pale. But he refuses to stop, refuses to let himself be slowed down. And his Morning Star leads the way, crashing through branches and clearing paths for people to see more clearly. And you eventually come upon a clearing with a small, it is not a lake, and you can tell it's not the lake you were looking for, but it is a small pool that is perfectly still along the top. The rest of the clearing is peaceful. There is a mossy log. There's almost perfectly like sleeping bed-sized spaces where moss covers the ground and creates a nice cushy place to sit down or lay down. And it is peaceful and quiet.
I'd like to look around and see if I can find something that I can, make Crook more comfortable on, like leaves or.
There are fallen leaves and things like that everywhere.
I set to work making a makeshift bed for him.
I would like anyone other than Crook and Rowan to make me perception and alertness, please.
Perception and alertness.
Or survival if you have it and it is higher than alertness. Georgie gets 1, Elodie gets 2, Sigrun gets 1. All three of you realize at the same time that now that you are here, there are no more paths. It's strange. Every time you think you see an opening between trees, when you blink, there is a tree where the opening used to be.
I guess we stay here for a while.
Elodie kind of just goes to sit by the pool by herself.
What are you doing, Elodie? Are you doing anything in particular, or are you just sitting?
She just kind of sits with her legs tucked up against her chest, her chin on her knees, arms wrapped around her shins, and just a little pill bug mode.
Okay. I am curious, and I'm sure that those watching at home are also curious. What's going on in Elodie's head right now?
Right now, can Elodie see her reflection in the pool?
Are you looking into the pool?
Yeah.
At a glance, yes, you can see your reflection. If you look longer, however, things will happen. So I need you to be clear about whether or not you're doing that.
Well, they are going to be looking for longer, but before that, before things start shifting and changing, most of what Elodie is just thinking is, from the beginning of this venture, they really had this, she really had this idea of things kind of just always work out. Very much the gung-ho stick-to-itiveness that you are fed as a child of everything happens for a reason, and if you have a positive attitude, things will go well, and treating this like a middle grade fiction adventure and realizing that, or not even realizing, because, sorry, trying to conduct my thoughts, where it's, she is coming to a conclusion that she is not being whimsical and she is not being creative. She is being delusional and thoughtless in a way that she hasn't considered since realizing that all of her flights of fancy that she was kind of shamed about when she was young were all real. And she just stares at herself in the pool before it begins to shift and change, and just sees someone that no matter how much they win can only seem to lose. And that really, really stings their pride.
Okay. As you look into the water, you find yourself seeing yourself, and you know that it's yourself even though you can't see your face, in a full suit of armor, holding a shield and a sword. And you are in a pitched battle with another armored figure. But this armor is all in this strange kind of mottled green tone. And then there is kind of a flicker, and you see yourself doing battle with another armored man. This one, the armor is more standard armor, but is kind of like almost shining and gleaming. And an instinct in you knows that this man used to be your best friend. And you watch as his sword buries itself between the shoulder pauldron that you are wearing and your neck, and cuts deep into your shoulder and your collarbone. And then there is a ripple across the water's surface, and you see yourself kneeling in a much more modern and polished looking throne room in a building that you have never seen before. And you can see a very delicate female hand is holding a shining sword and is tapping you on either shoulder. How long are you looking into and watching the scenes unfolding before you? Because I can keep going.
Probably after this.
As a side, in the last scene where the sword touches you on either shoulder, that's you. That it looks like you. You're not in armor, you're just yourself. Though you are in nicer clothes than you typically wear.
Once Elodie sees the tapping of the sword on either shoulder, all Elodie can think is her doing that same gesture in silliness at Crook before everything went wrong. And she's just gonna close her eyes and tuck her head against her arms on her knees and just pill bugging it.
Make me a willpower check, please. Total willpower. Oof.
Failure.
You attempt to close your eyes, to pull yourself away from what you're watching. And you find that the thought of closing your eyes and closing yourself off is too painful. You're going to feel more alone if you do that. So instead, you stare at the water, and you are pulled back to, what is Elodie's happiest memory?
Elodie's happiest memory was when she and Georgie decided that they were living together. Because since she was a kid, all of her older siblings moved out. She felt really, really, really alone. And now she had someone that was always there.
That is the scene that you see playing out in front of you as you watch it. You see you and Georgie talking. You can see Rowan kind of giving a nod, giving it his blessing that you are moving out of his place, thank God, and away from all of his tchotchkes. And you are moving in with Georgie, and you have this moment of kind of gleeful, childlike delight, and you throw yourself into Georgie's arms, who plays it California cool as usual, but also looks happy that this is happening. What is everybody else doing?
If Croak looks settled, there's nothing I can do there. Georgie is gonna head over and sit next to Elodie and put her feet in the water if she can.
Okay.
It looks like we're going to be here a while.
You're not beating the accusation of the Selkie girl bathwater.
Selkie girl bathwater.
I need Georgie to make me, let's go with a willpower check first.
Stop making me roll things.
Nope. 2 successes. Okay. Your feet slide past the glass-like surface, and you don't really notice it, but for the sake of people at home, when Georgie does this, there isn't so much as a ripple on the surface of the water. It should move, but it doesn't. It doesn't even react. Georgie, it is cool and crisp, and it feels really good against your skin. There's even a part of you that wonders if this is somehow salt water, because it feels almost like home. And as this happens, you find yourself looking down into the water and seeing a young man with beautiful, like perfectly sculpted features, playing a small harp, like a lap harp. And there is a woman who is leaning against him. They are dressed in very obviously like medieval or perhaps even older clothing. And she is weeping. They are sitting next to a campfire in what looks like a cave that you would find on the edge of in the cliffs on the edge of a beach. You can hear the waves in the distance over the soft music and her soft crying. And there is a part of you that knows instinctively that you are that young man, that the horse nearby that you can hear kind of huffing and moving occasionally in the gloom of the cave is your horse. And then the image changes, and you find yourself, you watch yourself sitting on the edge of your grandmother's pool with your feet, both of your feet and her feet, both in the water. And she has taken the shawl off her shoulders, has folded it very carefully, and has settled it into your lap. And you're expressing confusion and almost disbelief. And she is insisting that it is time and it is yours. She tells you that your sisters are boring, or that they expect it. There is another shift, and then you look forward and you find yourself standing before a figure that is cast in shadow. You can't make out their features, but they are holding a dagger that drips blood in one hand, in their hand, and for some reason the dagger itself is sharp contrast to the darkness around it. You can make out every detail of it, and you can even tell that it is a masculine hand holding it. And you look down and you realize that your hands are pressed over a bloody wound in your stomach.
Can I kick my foot and see if to disturb the water?
Make me a willpower check.
No.
I mean, then you can't do it. I don't know what you want from me. This is going to be difficulty 7. Nope. That's a botch. You can't look away. The world falls away around you, and you find yourself back in that memory of receiving your coat. And it's like you're there all over again. It's real. None of the other things you can't remember. No, this is today. This is, yeah. You're getting your coat. You weren't expecting this. How are you going to fit this into the rest of your life? You've got to go back to school tomorrow. What are your sisters going to say? What is everybody else doing?
I think Seagrin's gonna keep as well as she can in the area that we're in to like a small pocket of shadow. She's not going anywhere. She's not going to wander. Too much wandering has done too much damage, but she just kind of wants to feel a moment of solitude in a shaded area.
You're just walking around the clearing, looking for a place on your own?
Yeah, a little bit. She'll still keep within the eye distance of everyone else.
Okay. You are able, like, that's not terribly difficult. It's a clearing, but it's still wooded, so there are shadows cast by these tall trees overhead. And you are able to kind of settle down at the base of one of them. As long as you don't try to leave the clearing, they don't try to stop you.
Yeah, just quiet.
Rowan? Crook?
I am putting the bed together for Crook as best I can, and then if Crook will allow me to do so, I will make him comfortable. And I would like to look towards my other motley members. I'm very aware that the more time we spend in the dreaming, the more risk there is of terrible things happening, mentally, emotionally. So I'd like to get a sense if anybody's in danger of going down that road.
Well, you can see Sigrun. Sigrun has found herself a quiet place to sit and just seems to be relaxing and soaking in the silence for a few moments.
Okay.
Elodie is sitting next to Georgie, and is just starting to look up around her. Georgie, on the other hand, has her feet in the water, and seems pretty intent on looking at her own reflection.
Is there any cause for concern where Georgie is?
Not that you can see right this second.
Okay.
Elodie, you've pulled yourself away
Hi.
from the things that you were seeing. Georgie is next to you.
I'm gonna put a hand on her shoulder. Georgie,
You get no response.
shake a.
Nothing.
Elodie is going to stand and kind of loop her arms under Georgie's and start pulling her and just, we shouldn't look at this.
I need you to make me a straight strength roll.
Great. In this economy,
You know what I mean.
3 successes.
You are easily able to heft her up and away from the water. Georgie! Woo. She has given you another willpower roll. The difficulty, because it is a repeat, is going up to 8.
God damn it. Oh,
Are
thank
you
God.
rolling your total willpower?
I have shit willpower.
Okay, I'm just double checking. 4 is a very low number.
I have shit willpower.
You are hauled away from the water, and that movement breaks your eye line with it, and you are able to. It is like surfacing from under, like getting caught in a like a whirlpool, where even in your seal form, there is a small amount of panic that you're not going to be able to get back to the surface. It's like having to fight your way past that pool. But eventually, you snap back to the present. You are disoriented. It is hard for you to get a handle on when this is, where you are. For a moment, you don't recognize the people around you before... slowly but surely, your memories of the things that happened after your coat begin to filter back in.
Elodie curls herself around Georgie, like kind of glomming onto her back, and talks into her shoulder and just, I'm already falling apart, Gigi. You can't fall apart too.
Elodie.
Yeah.
It's okay. We take turns falling apart, and so it can be your turn, and I'll keep it together.
Are you okay?
I'm better because you're here.
Did a knight stab you in your dreams too?
Georgie's face actually drops for a second, Kind of.
We're best friends, right?
Yeah, we're always going to be best friends.
You're not gonna stab me with a sword, right?
Not unless there was a really good reason, like there was a spider on you.
Okay. That's okay then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, literally, face crumpling, tears in her eyes, just, fuck spiders, man.
Yeah, fuck
And she starts weeping.
Oh. Rowan, Georgie and Elodie are crying hysterically and saying fuck spiders.
I decide that the power of friendship is probably going to be the best medicine for them right now. And I turn to Crook and I say, is there anything else that you need right now?
Rowan, this is not the first time I have been stabbed.
That doesn't mean you need to be uncomfortable, Crook.
Rowan, we're in the middle of the woods. I'm going to be uncomfortable. It's just going to happen. And that's okay.
Well, very well. I'll just let you rest then.
Crook is going to, in the tatters of his coat, he goes into his pocket to see if his cigarettes and lighter are still there.
Yeah, I'll allow it. He's had a rough day. I'm not gonna take that from him.
He pulls it out, fishes one out slowly, lights it. And the secret to recovering after being shivved is to just be still. And so he sits there very still.
All right. You all are able to settle in. You're exhausted. You've been at this for a while, and that was after a really long walk across DC itself. And eventually, you all begin to drift off to sleep. In the morning, everyone wakes up except Crook. Crook is not dead, for reference. He is still breathing. He is lying quiet and still, peaceful.
We've slept in the dreaming. My God. How long will we be here?
Is that bad?
The longer we stay here, the greater the risk that we fall into a state of bedlam, that we lose all touch with the autumn world. We have no more sense of reality left. We need to do what it is that we were brought here to do, and then find a way out. But I think Crook needs time to recover as well.
Don't look in the pool.
I don't intend to. Well, thank you for the warning, Elodie.
I would like everybody except Crook to make me perception and alertness, please.
Detail-oriented apply?
No.
Okay.
No clairvoyance.
No.
Okay.
One success for this guy.
Got 2.
3.
No
Sorry,
success.
1.
1, 3, 1, 2. Okay. Everybody notices as you all are talking and looking at each other, and you've looked away from Crook. You all feel the area around you shift a little bit, and you turn your head towards where Crook is sleeping, just to make sure that he's still there. And you realize that his bed of moss and leaves has changed. It's still moss and leaves, but it is now on a raised, pedestal formed of what looks like, almost looks like petrified wood, like wood has grown up and created like almost like a bed for him to sleep on, and then hardened, and like he's been there for so long that it has petrified. And there is a little silvery plaque woven into these branches that have formed this pedestal. Anyone who rolled a 3 could tell that there is in fact writing on it.
I'm gonna go look.
On the plaque, it says, "Silent they lie, yet not unhearing. Bound in dream, their fate unclear. To wake the lost, a price is near. A whispered truth for sleeping ear. Not coin nor blood nor sword sharp gleaming, but what is kept and never told. Speak now the words you guard in meaning, and watch as dreams give breath to cold."
If only my glamour were more refreshed, I would be able to enter his dreams, speak with him. But I'm afraid that won't be possible right now.
Elodie is gonna step up next to Georgie and just look at her. Did she read this out loud?
Yeah.
We gotta tell him a secret. Something that no one knows. I'm gonna look at Georgie and kind of shoo her away.
I will leave.
I'll take a few steps back myself.
I'll also step back.
I'll look down at him and just, you look funny like that. Like if there was a glass lid, you'd be like Sleeping Beauty or something. Isn't that weird? And leans down to whisper in his ear, I know you don't like me, but that's okay. My secret is that I don't like me either. And then leans back.
Oh. Elodie?
Yeah.
Take a point of willpower.
Roger that.
You see a hint of, I don't want to say awareness, but like he is just starting to kind of come to the cusp of waking up, but isn't quite there. Get the feeling this may take multiple people doing this to actually fully bring him out of it.
Elodie turns and tries for a bright smile like they usually do, as though, yeah, they bounce back. Elodie always bounces back. And just, okay, who's next?
Manipulation and subterfuge, please.
Ha 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 ha.
Anybody who would like to can make a wits and empathy check, please.
That's one success.
Does good listener fall into this?
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Let me re-roll that.
No, you don't have to reroll. Good listener just takes that 10 and doubles it. So that's 3 successes instead of 2.
I know, Elodie.
Oh, failure instead of a botch, thank God.
Georgie, you can tell Elodie is not okay. She sells it to everybody else. So
George
who's
just
next?
grabs Elodie as Elodie starts heading back.
Who's next?
I'll go next.
Okay. Sorry. You sounded vaguely like Eeyore.
Yeah, it's just.
I guess.
This is gonna be very funny. Seagrin goes up to Crook and leans over in that very hoarse, very soft voice of hers. Thomas Booker was someone I worked with in the library. A horrible, horrible person. Nepotism ran through him, and he was just so crass. But in the beginning of my work there, I'm sure it was false, but there was a kindness. And from his kindness, I felt something of love. But then he was rude to my friend. And so I trashed his office, and he never knew who it was. Then she just
I have a question.
Yes.
Did you ever tell anybody else that story?
No, not even Cecilia.
Not even your bestie? Okay.
Not even Cecilia, no.
All right, cool. You see his eyes are rolling behind his eyelids. Seems slightly more awake.
I think at the very least, Cecilia didn't know she had a crush. She knew she trashed his desk, but she doesn't know why.
Noted. Okay.
Yeah.
There's so much to unpack.
Who's next?
I'll approach. I'll lean down and I'll say, do you know the reason I work so hard on my novels and to inspire young readers through my charity is because I'm terrified that by not doing so, I might cut a reader off from a source of their inspiration in their lives. And even worse, a changeling might never reach the chrysalis. If I ever found that I was the cause of that for someone, I don't think I could live with myself.
You watch as Crook's lips part just a little bit, and he lets out takes in a deep breath, like someone who is on the verge of waking.
I rise and step back.
Only one person left. All eyes turn to Georgie.
No one look at me for a second.
I said what I said.
Man. I've had the longest time to think of a secret, and I can't, so I'm gonna give you one, and it's insane. George heads to Crook's side and sort of like looks at the rest of the crew and like motions for them to stop looking at her.
I turn away because, Boggans appreciate not being looked at while they're doing stuff. So
I'll also turn away, but I'm going to tuck myself under Rowan's arm because I'm having a bad day.
Rowan absolutely comforts Elodie and takes a stroll with her towards the tree line, but not going any further than just a couple of feet from the edge.
Sigrun.
She'll look away. She feels a sense of shame for some reason.
Crook, I really hope you can't actually hear what I'm saying, and that's gonna be fine. The night that I met Carter, the reason I asked you to come with me to the show was because I had wondered if there could have ever been something between us. And she moves away so fast.
Before you get the chance to move away, Crook's eyes snap open.
Oh, fuck.
This is the perfect situation. I love the drama.
Crook looks at Georgie, almost opens his mouth to say something, and closes it, and sits up.
He's awake, we should go.
Everybody, Elodie's already gotten her willpower back. I forgot to say this because I was so caught up in everybody else giving their secrets. Everybody gets a point of willpower back, including Crook.
Before he gets down off this, he's now higher than he was when he went to bed. Looks around, sees Elodie sort of curling under Rowan's arm, points at her. You, come here.
I didn't do it, I swear.
I said come here.
Neither did I swear.
I trudge over. I promise that I didn't do anything that made this happen, I swear.
He stands up. I presume I am still injured.
I believe your first level of damage is gone because it's been more than 6 hours, but yeah.
Well, the worst one is what heals first, and that takes 3 days. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but you're in the dreaming. So get rid of the worst one.
Okay.
Should I also get rid of mine because I also have levels in hurt?
Yes.
Okay.
You get rid of one level of it.
He sort of seizes Elodie by the back of her hoodie and pulls her close. I am only going to say this once. And so I need you to listen very carefully when I say it. Listening?
Yes.
I will beat the ever-living shit out of anyone who doesn't like you.
Her face goes red up to the tips of her ears and just, so you heard that, huh?
You are one of my favorite people in the world. You're a badass. And don't let anyone tell you fucking different.
And that's where we're going to leave it for the night. Thank you for listening to District of Dreams, a Changeling the Dreaming actual play by Hallowed Haven Studios. Storytelling for this actual play was provided by Bloodied Porcelain. Sir Crook is played by Bookkeeper. Elodie Blight is played by Hannah Marie. Sigrun Spellman is played by Madame Ava. Rowan Parsons is played by Rob Davies. Georgina Byrne is played by Clara Allison. Our intro music is by Michael Shines. Our art is by Instagram.com/V is for Vampire. And our editing is by Virens.